before we take questions on the homework, okay? Yesterday, you were making equations of lines, okay? And so you had two different things. You had answer forms. You had y equals mx plus b, and that we called the slope intercept form. Okay. We also had ax plus by equals c, which is the standard form. Okay, but there were two conditions, I think, classifications, two things you got to watch out for in standard form. What were they? A has to be positive. That's one of them. What's the other one? No fractions or decimals. Okay, so those were the two forms of your answers. Okay, now, depending on the directions in the problem, it's going to depend on which one you are. If it says give it in standard form, you have to give it in standard form. If it says give it in slope-intercept form, you give it in slope-intercept form. Okay? If it doesn't, you pick. Okay? If it doesn't, you get to pick. Okay? But if it says a specific form, you need that. Okay? So then in order to get that, the tool that we have in our toolbox to get there is the slope or point slope form. Okay? Y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. That is the point slope form. Then you had like three different types of problems. Okay? First type of problem is you are given a point and a slope. Okay? Second style of problem was you are given 2 points. Third style is you're given a point and a line with some condition to go along with that line, either parallel or perpendicular. Okay? In all of those cases, the very first thing that you need to find is you need to first find the slope. In that first style of problem, it's going to be given to you. In that second style of problem, you got to subtract the y's over subtract the x's. In that third style of problem, you've got to either go the same or opposite reciprocal. But either way, you got to find the slope. Start with finding the slope. Then, you're going to use point slope form. Then, you put it in your answer form. whichever one that may be. Okay? Now, I will open the floor to homework questions. Gotta be a little more specific for me. Read it for me. Go.
M equals -3/2 passes through 4, -7.
Okay. So my slope is -3/2, and it goes through the point 4, -7. Right? Okay. Step number 1. Do I know what the slope of my line is? Yes, it's -3/2. It's given to me in the problem. Done. Step number 2. Use the point slope form. Right? Okay. So, y is going to stay y. The y part of my point is -7. My slope was -3/2. X is going to stay x, and the x part of my point was 4. Okay? Now, did it say in the directions what we need to put our answer in? Put it in standard form, okay? So now this really is y plus 7 equals -3/2 x plus 6. Would you agree with that? Okay. What's the one condition of standard form? Actually, before we do that, let's get rid of the 7 first. Now, what's one of the conditions of standard form? A cannot be a fraction. So I've got to multiply everything here by 2. Okay? So that gives me 2y equals -3x minus 2. In standard form, where are the x's and the y's? On the same side. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And that gives me 3x plus 2y equals -2. No fractions, no decimals, and the a coefficient, so the coefficient on the x, is positive. Other questions? Number 40. Can you be a little more specific about 40?
It's the same type of problem.
Okay.
M is equal to -3.
Okay. Do I know my slope? Yep. And in this case, I have my b also, right? So I can go right to, instead of point slope form, I'm going to go right into y equals mx plus b. So y is going to equal -3x plus 5. Correct? But what form did it say it wanted the answer in? Standard form. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. No fractions, no decimals, positive a. number 24 said,
In parentheses, negative the point, negative 6, 2, that is perpendicular to y equals -2.
right? Okay. What kind of a line has y equals -2? Horizontal, right? Okay, what kind of lines are perpendicular to horizontal lines? Vertical lines, right? All vertical lines have the form of what? Horizontal lines will have the form y equals some number. So it'd be x equals something, right? Okay. So what is the x part of my point? -6. If that one had said parallel, then we would have been parallel to that, so it still would have been a horizontal line, so it would have been y equals 2. Perpendicular is x equals -6. Good? Now, intentionally, today was a built-in worksheet day. Okay? It just so happened that I was gone yesterday, and that it worked out well to have this be kind of a review, catch-up. Here's some more work on everything, kind of a day in preparation of tomorrow. You will have a summative quiz. Okay? So there is a quiz tomorrow. Sam, you're something else. Shocking. Shocking. Okay?
Your life easier.